then I'm hitting going live on Twitch. Help us name this. It's called Oilersnation Chat. Help us name this. Okay, we're going live. We are live. Welcome, everybody. That nobody's here for.
No one's here yet.
Yes, that's the trick. See, the trick is what we need to do is we need to go live like 15 minutes ahead of time with just a screen that plays music for them while we talk.
Can we do that?
Talk about. Yeah, I think so. That's another beauty of Streamlabs is you can do basically anything you want. That's what I used to do with the Twitch streams.
We could do like a Rise Jericho style countdown.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah.
I literally might just steal Jericho's countdown.
Yeah.
And do that.
I'm sure he wouldn't have a problem with it.
No. Chris Jericho, he's a man of the people.
He's not litigious or anything. But welcome to this thing. We don't know the name of it, everybody. No viewers yet. But Tyler and Baggedmilk, how are you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm very good. I got a nice hot coffee in front of me, a full bottle of water. I'm ready to sit here for 30 minutes and record this with you guys. And then we got some other stuff we're doing afterwards, which will be a lot of fun as well.
I could use a snack if I'm being honest.
I didn't bring a snack actually today.
Tyler has some to spare for you.
No, and actually I'm kind of regretting that now because I'm going to be sitting on the couch for like an hour here and I don't have any snacks. My sister made me like this big, like a puffed wheat square, but it's massive. I should probably crush that.
That's delightful. I like a puffed wheat square. I might make myself like a little, I bought a bunch of frozen pizzas were on sale the other day. I might make frozen pizza for lunch.
Where'd you get them from?
Safeway, I think.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, every now, like first week of the month, they go on sale for like $3 or something. So I buy and load up.
We may be having audio issues currently. I'm
I see that.
To figure out what's going on here because it's not playing properly.
Why is somebody complaining already?
Oh, they're just being honest and saying that
I hear
it's not working.
Not Tyler, but you guys.
We may be having audio issues currently. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here because it's not playing properly.
Now I can hear us talking.
Yeah, I heard like an echo version of.
But again, I can't hear you guys.
Okay, maybe I'll go back to this microphone.
That's okay because that means that the people can hear you, and that's what matters.
I can hear you.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I like that the first couple of minutes of this show every week is just us saying that we can't hear each other.
We're ironing out the wrinkles. Why is there a thing of Connor McDavid that just popped up on the Twitch thing?
Because somebody just followed us. Avery Sports 93 just followed us, and as well as Goal 666 just followed us on the Twitch stream.
Electronic Jordan says Dan's quiet. Okay.
Give us the feedback of what's going on. I don't have Twitch open, so I need a running narrator for the comment section. I've got a new microphone today. Do I sound better, people? I feel like I should.
There you go. People say that everyone can be heard. So I think we are good to go. I think we're good to go.
Okay, we're going to start over. Let's pretend that first part didn't happen. Welcome to Oilersnation Twitch thingy, Bob. We still don't have a name for it. Please include your suggestions for names. Nothing slanderous against Tyler. Well, maybe a little slanderous against Tyler. But whatever. We're going to come up with a name for this thing. We need your help because we've lost all creativity.
One of the finalists is State of the Nation, right? That could be ours since we talk about, stuff going on around the nation and whatnot.
Yep. Could be State of the Nation, absolutely.
Feel free to throw that in the comments on Twitch, or if you're watching this back, send us a message on our social media at Oilersnation on Twitter, or at Nation_ON on Instagram, or Oilersnation on Facebook. But until then, Baggedmilk, that's a good one.
Kind of like yesterday on Real Life when I brought up the idea to name the Nugent Hopkins Draisaitl Yamamoto line. You call them Dry, Kai, and Rye. So that would be a play off that. Baggedmilk.
I still feel like Nudramoto flows off the tongue better.
Nudramoto.
That actually like a Pokemon as well.
That ties into a conversation we had yesterday about way too early line combinations.
Yep.
And it's something, because this is the stuff I think about constantly, that's actually been on my mind for pretty much all of the rest of yesterday and all of today. like, I know Cahoon was signed to play with Draisaitl, but there is still a part of me that sits there and goes, I am not too thrilled with breaking up the Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Yamamoto line, just because in their 20-some regular season games together, they were the best line in hockey. Like, they were the hottest line in hockey. They produced like hell. And you even go back to the play-in round, and they weren't together for 3 games and 2/3, and then he puts them back together in the third period, and they were great again. Like, they picked up right where they left off. So for me, like, maybe the Cahoon signing shouldn't change that, you know? Like, I know Draisaitl's probably going to want to play with him. They'll give it a look, but I don't know. I have a hard time sitting going in next league and saying we need to commit to breaking up that trio.
I have a hard time continuing on with this conversation after just seeing this weird hole-in-one that just went in. What the hell is this video about?
Yeah, have you seen that,
Skipped it
John
off the
Rahm?
water.
Yeah, it was wild. John Rahm in a practice round on hole 16. After I brought up the video on the radio today, it was pointed out to me that apparently that's a tradition in your practice round on hole 16. You try to skip the ball across. So apparently VJ Singh's done it. I think Jordan Spieth might have done it a few years ago as well. I learned all that after watching it, but the first time you watch it, it's mind-blowing, man.
That's
like
incredible.
It skips like 3 times and then rolls around like the entire circumference of the green and drops in. It's wild.
That is
Yeah,
wild.
that hole is like designed for that kind of a play.
I know you were talking about line combinations, but this is the first time I'm seeing this video, and that is incredible. See, like, I've hit plenty of balls in the water in my day, but none of them have turned out this way.
Well, no, but that is true, though. Like Tyler said, BJ Singh did it a couple years ago, and everybody lost their – because it's on the par 3 holes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's their weekly tradition if you're not familiar with Masters, which I know some people in Canada aren't, because it's weird to me to be cheering for the Masters when there's 4 feet of snow on the ground.
I started doing all my Masters betting prep earlier today, so I got that all going in front of me here.
I assume you consulted our friends at Oddshark, of course.
Yes, checked out Oddshark, checked out all my various resources. I'm very excited for the Masters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's normally in April, though, yeah?
Yeah, it's usually right at like the start of when golf season here would begin. So like you watch the Masters, you get fired up. You watch all these guys shoot like 2-3 under par at a great course like Augusta. You get fired up, you go play Twin Willows, and you shoot 20 over par if you're me, and you have a good
value
time.
Golfing, Tyler.
Yeah,
it's just getting value for your money.
All right, back to Tyler's conversation about line combinations. I also would agree that it bothers me that Tippett would split up the best line in hockey. I get it. Cahoon was signed probably to play with Draisaitl, but like, I mean, Connor's no slouch. Maybe try him there.
And the thing with Cahoon, too, he's always been a little bit more of a playmaker. So, like, that almost makes me go, okay, maybe he should play with Draisaitl. He's more of a playmaker. Draisaitl is going to be the shooter on that line with Yamamoto going to the net. But still, like, just that trio on the second line, I'm of the belief that Connor McDavid will be pretty productive no matter who you play him with. And if Cassian's there and if you have, like, Ennis or Cahoon on the left side, you're going to get production out of that line. You're not maximizing your production by any means, but you're going to get goals. And building a good second line that could at times even draw away the top competition of the other team, that helps Connor just as much as putting an elite line mate with Connor, right? In my opinion, at least.
But we said, like we've said before, we talked about it on Oilers Nation Radio, how putting Nuge up with McDavid allows McDavid to just play his offense kind of game, and Nuge can cover up for the defensive side of Connor's game that isn't lacking necessarily, but he tends to put the team on his back and force the issue with offense. So I don't know. I feel like if anything, it gave us the versatility to try it. And if it doesn't work out with Cahoon and you don't have the chemistry with Yamamoto that you would have hopefully with Draisaitl and Cahoon, then maybe you go back to that Nugent Hopkins option. But I just like that there's options out there. And then we haven't even talked about it yet, but the possibility of Ennis sliding into that spot as well is out there as well. So there's versatility in the top 6 and top 9 that you love to see.
Well, it's the first time in forever they've had any kind of versatility in the top 9 and not having people. I mean, there's always going to be people fighting above their weight class no matter what happens, unless you're the Connors and the Leons. But like, this isn't going to be. We need Josh Archibald to produce in the top 6. Like,
Yeah.
Sure, he's probably going to have to moonlight up there at some point. Injuries happen. They always do. Or maybe just Tippett wants to switch things up for a minute or two. But, like, this isn't Ty Ratty slotting in on the first line.
Yeah, you're bang on with that. It's no longer the years of those fringe signings the Oilers made in free agency going, oh, I wonder what they can do at the NHL level. And again, if you want to hear more of this, like we talked about it yesterday on Real Life, the signings Ken Holland made, even the cheap ones, that works. Like they're all guys who have done it before at the NHL level. So they're not Nygaard, Haas, and Ty Ratty. It's not that area. It's guys who have produced half a point a game for an 82-game season before. It's guys who have gotten closer, hit 20 goals in their careers. It's Jesse Puljujärvi, who's a 4th overall pick, who by all accounts looks good overseas and has developed a lot in the year since he's been, or a year and a half even now since he's been gone. It's a totally different conversation than anything we've had in the past. And you're right. It's no longer like, ooh, can Ty Ratty work with McDavid? Is Nugent Hopkins the best fit? Is Kahuna fit? Is Ennis a fit? Like there's multiple players who you could realistically see having productive runs with McDavid or Draisaitl in the top 6.
You brought up Joachim Nygaard. Like where does he even fit anymore?
Well, and that's it too. Like there's so much depth now and there's so many options. Like even a guy, if you go through the depth chart quickly, on the left side, you're going to have Nuge, Cahoon, James Neal, and Tyler Ennis. On the right side, you're going to have Archibald's in the lineup for sure. Cassian's in the top 6. Puljujärvi's around there. Yamamoto, like, forget Nygaard. Where's Alex Chason going to play? Like, is he even on the team or like in the lineup on a regular basis? There's going to be some tough decisions to be made.
Well, and that's kind of what was mentioned here in the comments by Womp TV. He said the way Cass has played at times, I think I prefer Archie there. And I think that for us, more than anything now, it's going to be the right wing that we're looking at as to, where those guys are going to fit in. Cassian doesn't have the faith of Tippett as per what we saw the last half of the season after he signed that contract extension. So then it's like, is it James Neal? Is it going to be Jesse Puljujärvi forced up there? Like, I don't know. Chason can probably play that wing as well. But you don't necessarily want him up there. So I don't know. There is still some question marks, but the left side is a great thing.
I think that's also.
And we just had a name suggestion of doing lines with the nation.
We're not doing that. That's poor branding.
I also think it's going to be interesting to there probably won't be a preseason, or if there is, it's going to be a very, very short, truncated preseason. So they're not going to have a lot of time to figure this out either. It's going to be, are you kind of clicking a little bit in training camp? Maybe. That's also going to be interesting.
All the more reason to go with what works, at least early in the year, right? Like if you give Kahuna a look with Draisaitl through the 3 preseason games and you're kind of like, ooh, it's not a perfect fit, I think you absolutely resort back to what works because, again, it's going to be a short preseason, short training camp potentially, but then it could also be a short regular season. And in that sense, you're going, if you come out of the gates 2-7, you could be screwed. Like there could be point of no return hits pretty early in the year if it's only 48, 50 games.
Yeah, if it's a 48-game season, you can't have a start like that. It's just, you can't. It's otherwise you're too far behind and you don't have enough road to catch up. So they need to get it right from the start. So I get why you would put Kahun with Draisaitl. I understand it, but I also don't understand. And this goes back to last year towards the end of the season before the pause and then into the play-in round. I don't understand why Tippett would split up that line.
Is Avery Sports 93 in the comment section? Is that Avery Lewis McDougall from the Avery Sports Show?
I think so. We were great with the presence of Avery as well as Electronic Jordan and Arionis and Official Jensen. We appreciate all you guys being here. The question that you just asked in the chat is, are we going to have an all-star game this year?
Yeah. I think did we not touch on this on one of the podcasts too? Like it's not happening. You're struggling just to get a season together. Never mind getting a season that can be, hopefully 60, 65 games and then finding time to take like 10 days off to do a proper all-star break and bye week. Like I think the players, especially if they end up going to prorated salaries at one point, if they have to accept prorated salaries, the players are suddenly going to want to play as many games as possible. So I don't see an all-star game. Also, can you imagine if they all traveled to one city for the all-star game and there was a COVID outbreak at the all-star game? Like,
well, and also
the league's best players go down.
the All-Star game, the skills competition, the All-Star game itself, that whole weekend, that's for the fans. That's what that is. That's, you know, it's just a big marketing event for the NHL. And if you can't have fans in the building, or like at best a very small number of fans in the building, then it doesn't make sense from a practical standpoint either. You're not gonna make Crosby come out and walk a red carpet to nobody.
Avery says it may get pushed to 2023 since 2022 is an Olympic year. Is 2022, like, I wonder what's going to happen, first off, with the coming Summer Olympics. Because I haven't done my research on this. I'll throw that out there now. But is there a chance that the Olympics this year don't even happen, or the Summer Games get pushed a while this year? And could that result in them pushing the Winter Games back a little bit?
I think they said last year when they officially postponed the Olympics that if it doesn't go ahead at this next date, it's done, because it's in Japan, correct? Or Korea?
Tokyo.
Japan. So Tokyo. But I think they were saying like they can't commit to trying to, you know, keep the hotels booked and keep the, you know, keep all the venues good to go and ready to go for Olympic movement. Plus, like you guys are kind of alluding to, the COVID restrictions and issues that they're going to have to deal with that stuff. They're going to have to plan all that shit, and I'm sure that they are right now. But if they don't hit that threshold to be able to run it, which I would imagine has to come soon, like they have to make a decision here pretty quickly, because you don't want athletes, you know, ramping up their training regimen to get ready for the Olympics to then not have it happen. It's just, I don't know, but I think to that point, or I kind of had a question that came to mind too. Like I think we've been kind of all talking about how the NHL would try and get the regular season tucked in before that Olympics hit. Is there a possibility that the Olympics is just a 2-week break for the NHL and then they continue on the regular season past that?
No, I can't see that.
I think the NHL is going to be pretty hell-bent on wrapping this thing up before the Olympics, because I think they want to slowly get back to having their regular routine where it's, you know, draft end of June, free agency July, season starts October. Like, I don't think they're going to want to finish the playoffs again after the Olympics and then have their off season over the fall again and start next year in like December, January. I think they'll want to just really pick it up.
Well, that'd be maybe, Tyler, maybe this is an interesting question. Like today we'll be talking to Kelsey Mitchell, who was supposed to be participating in the 2020 Olympics, obviously got pushed back for Canada in cycling. It's going to be interesting to ask her kind of, you know, what is this doing for your training? Like, what are they telling you? What's going on with the Olympics? Like, do you have an idea? I would bet, obviously we haven't spoken to her yet, but I would wonder if they're also just kind of going week by week or day by day in terms of their planning and training and just trying to prep as best as they can for an unknown situation.
Yeah, and again, if you missed that, Baggedmilk said we're going to be doing an interview with Kelsey Mitchell. She's an Olympic caliber cyclist. She has not competed in Olympic Games yet, but she's got gold medals at like pretty much every other event. A fascinating story. She didn't start competitively cycling till she was 23, and a year later, I think it was at like the Pan America Games, she won a gold medal. She's lives in Sherwood Park now, from Sherwood Park. A great local story. We're going to be chatting with her. If you want to catch that interview, it'll be Friday on Oilers Nation Radio. So keep your eyes peeled, or your ears peeled, I suppose, for that. But the whole Olympics thing, like, just such a massive, massive event too, with so much money on the line, Dan. Like you mentioned, having the hotels booked and all that, like that is like the very, very tip of the iceberg. Like there's so much stuff below that goes into the Olympics. That's why I'm like, man, the fact that it's, and someone said in the comments, you know, okay, the vaccine's coming. Okay, the vaccine's coming in like 6-7 months potentially. Like the sports world doesn't have the luxury of being like, hey, let's wait 6-7 months and see what this vaccine looks like. Like they got to get going, and you got to make decisions without that knowledge.
Well, and also too with the Summer Games, you've planned that based on the weather situation for all these guys too, and all these events, right? Like I'm sure just like in previous years, some of those venues are outdoors, you know, pools are outdoors sometimes, and you can't be messing around with it. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting to see, but the comments are rolling in. If you guys have any questions as well in the comment section there, feel free to throw them out. I'm trying to keep an eye on things as we roll on to the topics here. Looking forward to talking to Kelsey Mitchell here in a little bit.
It would never happen in a million years, but how fun would it be if you got both a summer and a winter Olympics in the same year? Just
That'd be sick.
nonstop Olympics. Like all the sports we didn't get to watch in 2020, they just ram them all into 1 year. All of it.
2021 is like the ultimate sports year. I wouldn't complain about that. It's sort of like what we did get though, like after we went the 4 months at the beginning of the pandemic with nothing. And then in August, you just got hit with like a fire hose of every sport coming back all at once. And I loved it. As someone who has the now luxury of working from home for the second half of his days, being able to come home at like 12:30 and just throw a couple of games on the TV was unreal.
You'd have to set up a third TV in your living room, Tyler.
I actually might do that for this Sunday. I got 2 in the living room right now, and I have 1 in the bedroom, and I might bring the 1 out of the bedroom so I can go 2 football games and Masters and really have like a little hub.
You should also, I'm just tabling this, maybe build a fort, and you have yourself a Sunday fun day for the ages.
And I would need more blankets.
Avery in the comments and a couple other people are saying that they did used to do the Olympics that way. In '88, it was Seoul and Calgary in the same year. '94 was the first time that they actually split the summer and winter games.
See, this is why it's good having a live chat. I had no idea of that.
Well, this is the live chat is just Avery hitting us up with facts.
Tyler, were you live for '94?
No, I wasn't alive in '94. I wasn't born till '97. Today on the radio, Low Tide like brought up some old chocolate commercial, and I was like, "What? How do you not know about this old chocolate commercial?" And I looked and it ran in like 1999. And I was like, I was 2 years old, man. Like, what are you talking about?
That's awesome. Yep, everybody remembers that Tyler is the young boy here. And now they can see your face, Tyler, so they're reminded of that every time.
Dan, something happened with your mic in the last like 2 minutes, at least on my end.
Yeah, mine too.
And it sounds like you dropped the mic into a carpet and you're just like squishing your foot over it while you talk.
I did actually drop the mic into the carpet. Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah, it's just when it slides back past my neck, the audio doesn't translate through my neck well. I'm too thick in the neck.
Figured it out.
Now Avery's calling me an infant. All right.
Aren't you guys the same age?
No, I think Avery's like 4 or 5 years older than me.
Avery. I don't buy it.
Avery's an old soul. But, so we talked about the lines. What else do we want to talk about, boys and girls, in the chat? Anybody
the lines was our big topic for today. There was a couple questions, and this is one I was saving for Thursday's episode of Real Life if we had a chance to get to it. It was one of the questions submitted to the Real Life podcast, and now that we have the live chat going, this is good too. Best stadium food. Like either what is the question was just best stadium food, but so I took it as like, what is either the best stadium food you've ever had? And Avery might actually get he's in the comments, might be good for this because he's been to a lot of rinks and a lot of different sports.
Yeah, but Avery's gonna say like lukewarm water or something.
Yeah.
That's also fair.
We can't take Avery's word on it. So Avery, you know I love you, buddy, but I'm not taking food advice from you.
Best stadium food you ever had, or what's your go-to at Rogers Place?
Well, as a person that has a budget, I haven't been able to eat a lot of food at Rogers Place myself. But for me, it's got to be popcorn, right? Like popcorn's the thing I always get, and a nice big old liter of cola.
My dad loves the popcorn at Rogers Place, but for me, ever since I started like working or like having work shifts at Rogers for Oil Kings games, like up in the press box, I eat so much of it there that I'm sick of it. I can't do Rogers Place popcorn anymore. Whenever I'm up in the press box, I always get like a little bag of it. But other than that, like I know, boo-hoo. I can't stomach it. And someone in the comments.
Too much free popcorn. Wow.
Some call me Timmy97. That popcorn is just a salt lick. And it is, man. If you have too much of it, it's just pure salt. It's brutal.
We got a Hollywood Yaremchuk here.
Sorry?
So there are a couple comments say not the popcorn. That popcorn is just a salt lick. That's butter salt, and it's delicious. Thank you. Couple other responses. Pizza, but Rogers Pizza 73 is trash. From Brad.
I don't mind the pizza.
I miss when it was Boston Pizza. I respect whoever said that.
Womp TV says, damn it, do Commonwealth burgers count? I would allow that.
I would allow that. Why not? I'm a big hot dog guy.
Really?
Yeah, See, the thing that scares me about hot dogs is how long they've been on the old rotisserie.
You forget about that. It's best not to think about that. Yeah. I've long passed that. But I would also say I have the buddies that every time we go to a game together, we'll always go for a soft pretzel. Love me a soft pretzel.
See, and I want the soft pretzel, but only if I can dip it in some sort of like cheese sauce. Otherwise, to me, just
get the cheese sauce, man.
Do they give it to you still at the games?
I think you'll probably have to pay $48 for the cheese sauce, but like probably. I can't imagine why not.
Boston Pizza, Great White North for life from Brad.
That's what I'm saying.
There was nothing better. And when I was at games at Rexall Place, I was a child, so I was not consuming alcohol. But for me, I loved when I could get a Boston Pizza, Great White North, and a pop. That was an elite Rexall Place combo.
Everything about that sounds elite. Yeah, Great White North. Like I loved when it was Boston Pizza doing the pizza at the games. I miss it.
But the best snacks, I think, are the ones that you smuggle in.
I've never smuggled snacks into an Oilers game.
Oh man,
I haven't into a hockey game either.
A movie, I'll do a movie, but for a hockey game, I'll get whatever's there.
My dad taught me well when it comes to being frugal, and food is where they get you, and so that's what I would smuggle in. We would all have Ziploc bags of popcorn in our chests. And then you
sound like you're running a military operation.
Allegedly, Dan does not sneak in snacks.
Come at me, Rogers. You can't find it on me. I guarantee you won't be able to find it on me before I scream bloody murder because I've been assaulted.
Mm-hmm. Womp TV says they've never snuck in snacks. They get patted down almost every time. Can you imagine?
Down?
My dad, like when I go to games with my dad, the mustache probably makes him look a little bit sketchier than he is. He gets patted down, I'd say like probably 50-50, close to 50-50.
I'm always nervous walking into Rogers. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the arrangement that they have there, but I've never been touched once. Like I've never been bought. I mean, that's probably because they look at me and they're like, I don't want to touch that guy. But I always am nervous, especially like, because I have the old system where I use the hat and I put all my shit into my hat and I just slide that through security. But like I've never been bothered once.
Never had an issue at Rogers Place, but like anytime I go through an airport, I always get sent into secondary.
Really?
Nice.
Always. It's like it's not even. It's you could set your watch to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I look like I've got shady doings going on, I guess, Tyler.
We do all get checked in Saddle Dome, though. I think everybody's been checked at the Saddle Dome. And also had my cards demagnetized at Saddle Dome. So with good reason. We've stolen a shovel. We've returned said shovel. What other shenanigans have gone on there?
I mean, multiple shovels Cam has taken, allegedly.
I was only there for the last Calgary trip this last year, and I just remember Rick almost getting into a fight with that Flames fan in the stairway.
But that's just Rick any sporting event ever.
I know.
He just if you sit by Rick, he's entertaining to watch in himself because he just doesn't stop for the 3 hours.
I've done the almost fight. Baggedmilk, you were there for that one.
Oh, that you did that in Calgary too when Connor got hurt, right?
Yep.
I was so drunk though that I didn't know what was going on, and then I just saw a commotion. I'm like, I wonder what's going on here, and then I went back to drinking my alcohol.
I almost fell like hard on that last Calgary trip because the seats at the Saddle Dome are so narrow. Like you stand up and it's like, whoa, you got nowhere to go. That game was not one of my best moments.
Coombsy did fall down those stairs.
Also,
Handsome Tom fell down those stairs.
Oh, well, then I'd be in elite company.
Yep.
I think once an episode during this show, we should make a resolve to shit on Calgary in the Saddle Dome once.
Well, we got to get our licks in here because they're going to be getting a new barn soon. So we got to shit on the Saddle Dome while we can. And I just want to give a shout out to all the Sherpas that get us up to the press level safely on the way up there. Because if you've never been to the Saddle Dome and gone up to the press level, it is a hell of a hike.
When we get back to life, and we're able to have a bus with, shields on every seat and everybody wearing their PPE and everything, and we get people down to Calgary again, we'd love to have everybody there because it's a good time. I don't think we've seen them win yet, but our nation trips are pretty notorious for not having wins, but we have a hell of a time anyways.
We saw them win once, Dan, if you remember. It was when Leon got his 50th.
Oh, yes, of course.
And then the Oilers, something else happened that we won't talk about. And then the Oilers also missed out on Capo Caco because of that win.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, we should. I know some people like DCards35 just showed up, but as we teased earlier, we got an interview to do with a future Olympian, so we gotta get on that, boys.
So just for everybody that's tuned in, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be doing this 1 o'clock in the afternoon every Tuesday going forward. So feel free to tune in every Tuesday on company time. We will give you a sick note if you need it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It is twitch.tv/officialoilersnation if you want to hit follow on us there, and you'll be notified when we go live. That's always helpful. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. I am The Nation Dan. You got Tyler Yaremchuk to my left, Baggedmilk in a screen hiding behind it below us. And you guys have any final words for everybody watching?
Yeah, I do. I just want to say also, we're going to be throwing this up on the Nation Network YouTube page as well. So if you have ever been to youtube.com, search out the Nation Network and subscribe to our channel, please, and thank you.
Yes. That's
awesome.
all.
Perfect. Well, everybody be safe, stay happy, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. And until then, goodbye.
Alles Wiedersehen.
There we go. One day.